Now, Min, we did put a thing on Facebook where we asked people to present questions to you, and one was, a lady was asked about the concept of vegetarian versus normal meat eating, and it's been an interesting one for me. From my personal experience, I gave up red meat. I didn't go completely vegetarian. September, and I noticed the difference amazingly. And not only is it the thought of eating meat, and again I am eating chicken and fish, but I feel lighter. And to me it was presented that the lighter energy foods travel through, and it also helps with your density. So what's your concept on things like that?
Again, brother, this could be a very simple answer or a complicated one.
Let's make it a 10-minute one.
All right, let us see, where do we start? In truth, we will go back to the beginning. We spoke of the first temple where you all walked as one consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you did not even eat then.
Yeah.
You didn't require it. Because your being was so pure and free of any judgment, shall we say, of any toxicity, shall we say. That breath alone was enough to keep the inner fires burning.
Wow.
Then you found water, and it was physical, and it had a taste, and it felt good. That's the first physical thing you put into your mouths. For the further along the path you went on this planet, the less you remembered the truth of what you are. You see what we say?
So you're almost saying that we didn't just become human, we evolved from spirit through the concept of experimental. That's very interesting, isn't it? Mm. So suddenly we didn't say, well, let's become a human being and eat grass and pick berries. You actually were spirit and found you got a taste of
the physical
physicality.
This is how you created your senses. You came
Evolved.
here without senses. This is what we have said from the beginning.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
You are masters. You are not at the bottom of the ladder.
That makes sense.
You have evolved from the invisible into the visible. You have allowed God to experience itself through 5 senses.
So,
For understand, if you are one with everything, what are you going to see?
the same thing.
That's right.
It's bland. Oh, no, I don't mean to be
Well,
disparaging, but
it is frequencies of energy. See what we are saying? So you came to the planet as spirit in the consciousness of oneness,
Mm-hmm.
but you could not signify between 2 trees, between 2 beings. You saw everything all merged in a pulse of oneness.
Like the Borg out of Star Trek. They're all the same consciousness.
Yes. So you cannot see anything other than yourself. So as you began to evolve upon this physical planet, she was evolving also. You felt air around your bodies. So you began to create the sense of smell. You then drank water and created the sense of taste. You see what we are saying?
That's really exciting because, look, I've heard you say this before, that, you know, that we are
have
evolved.
never said it this way
No, because when you say it the other way, and I mean this respectfully, I always thought it's a bit of lip service. I thought, you know, you're saying that we've evolved, that we're better, and I say, well, how have we become better? Well, I've never asked. But if you look at it from this perspective, it really does show an evolution from spirit to human as a progression rather than a regression.
That is true. So understand, let us stick with your question.
which I forgot. Anyway, yeah, vegetarian, yes.
Being a vegetarian or
Yes.
being a meat eater.
Yes.
As you drank the water, God asked for more, because God is continually evolving. So then you began to identify different things upon your planet and put them in your mouth. Have you any idea of the exquisite experience that
Sounds
was?
it feels exciting just listening about the idea.
So then,
Tasting for the first time.
yes, but taste is a consciousness that was wishing to evolve itself. And in your excitement, in your expansion at such a unique experience for the first time, you began to pick the fruits, you began to pick the flowers, you began to pick the fish.
See the colours, experience the colours.
See the colours, smell.
Wind on your face.
Yes. Smell the food, hold the food, feel the food.
Fantastic.
Hear the food,
Yes.
such as your birds or your deer. You see what we say?
So we really are the leading edge.
You are.
Yeah.
Thank God someone is getting it
Oh,
now.
cool. I'm listening.
So, you have evolved through many lifetimes, experiencing many different senses, whether it be food or sex or disease or joy or pain.
Good or bad, it's still experience.
It's still an experience. You see what we say?
You really do see it. Yeah, I really do. It's sinking in.
Now you have come, many of you, not all of you on the planet, for there are many still starving just to taste water in their mouths.
So, okay, that's another question, yeah.
But for the beings we are speaking with, you have evolved to a point and you feel you have hit the wall. There is nothing within the senses that truly excites you anymore.
Been there, done that.
That is right. So now your beautiful silly minds are making up excuses and debates, trying to keep you out of the boredom of your senses now with such questions as, should I be vegan or is it okay to eat meat? Because everything has a consciousness, and yes, everything does have a consciousness, but nothing ever dies.
Okay.
So you understand what we were saying. So now your minds are going, we want to return to feeling that lightness. So do we do it through our food? For you came here as complete light, and the more you consumed and the more you wished for different sensations, the denser you became. But understand, this has been perfect. This is a divine experience still. But what we are asking you to do now, as you have created flesh and blood and 5 senses, we want you to open up your 6th sense.
Tell me what that is. I don't know.
It is your intuition. It is your psychic centers.
I'm working on that.
Well, understand you came here with your intuition, with your telepathy, with your psychic senses intact. But then you had to put these to one side to develop your 5 senses. So now we are asking you
Take it back.
to take it back and also still experience your 5 senses.
Why did we have to put them aside? Why didn't we just combine them with the other
Because
senses?
in the divine dance, dear one, of the experience, you became drunk within your senses.
Consume.
Consumed within your senses, and this was beautiful. It is divine still.
It's even self-indulgent, so you say, well, bugger that bit, we'll just do this. But really, you're going the full circle now, so we've gone this way, we turn around and come back.
Yes, but still not turning yourselves. This is where consciousness has said we must ascend back into our light bodies. We are saying no to that. We want you to stay in these magnificent human temples that God can experience the 5 senses, but to bring back intact the core divine intelligence of yourselves, so you will not hurt the planet anymore. You will not hurt each other or yourselves, and you will find that your senses will fine-tune themselves through your intuition to tell you exactly what it is you require in any moment for your human temples. You see what
Yeah,
we're
it's
saying?
fantastic, fantastic.
Now, some of you will require some form of flesh. Some of you will require more fluid. Some of you will require more vegetables of different colours. Because once you bring back the sixth sense, the divine God of yourself, fully awake and aware in this temple, in the truth of oneness, everything serves everything else.
I take your point that nothing ever dies. It may leave the physical, but what about the suffering involved in the dying? So if something is killed to be eaten by something else, the suffering that that creature goes through while it's dying, does that mean nothing? How does that fit in?
Understand, this is a reflection of what the brother here said. You became consumed
Okay.
in wishing to feed the senses.
Greed,
Now
self-indulgence.
Yes.
has happened also to the animals upon your planet. The whole planet's consciousness in the truth of oneness has been experiencing greed and lust and violence. Now that has been necessary, because in the truth of oneness nothing is ever judged. It is understood with compassion, and that is what transforms it.
Well, yeah, that's right. You could say, well, I was going to say, well, that's life. The cow eats the grass, the man eats the cow, man poops on the
That
grass,
is the life.
feeds the grass, comes back around. It's just the cycle of nature. And unfortunately, people have to die, as we die. Like, just no one eats humans.
But
these
you are
days.
simply transforming yourself from visible energy into invisible energy. What happens when you eat an apple? The physical energy goes into the body, and what is created? Invisible energy.
It does, actually, yes. So interesting. But-
This is how you need to see your life as physical and non-physical energy, that without one another could not exist.
Okay, that's great. But so, did we answer the question? No, this is far better than the question.
Well, the question isn't. The
We
question
have
isn't-
answered the question,
No.
you listen to what we have said.
Oh, that's great. But what do you prefer? Do you prefer people eating red meat to vegetarian? I think if we're going to go black and white, is there a preference? If I can just go black and white, that's great.
There was no preference, I don't think.
No preference. Doesn't matter.
There's no preference, it does not matter. You
Some
must
people eat
follow-
meat, some eat. It's just intuition. Follow what goes best for you.
Are you going to go out and tell a lion that it shouldn't eat meat?
No,
But
And
what-
why would you not do that?
because that's what he does.
That's right, beginning and end of story.
Does this mean then that as the planet changes and we change, that the lions will cease to make their prey suffer? Or will the lions cease to be out there in the wild as the changes occur?
Yes, you will find many things, brother, that are happening that appear minute. But we are saying within the next 1,000 years, which is nothing but a drop within the consciousness of time,
Mm-hmm.
how shall we say, the consciousness of everything upon this planet is coming back into the truth of oneness. You used to walk amongst the lions. They lived off breath. They had their 5 senses to create and evolve.
Thus the parable of Adam and Eve. They didn't need anything, but don't eat from the tree.
Don't eat that apple, because then you are going to get an insatiable sense for more.
Interesting, really interesting.
Great parable.
But that is
Yeah.
coming from judgment. God has not judged. God has said, go eat the apples, because I want to know what it is, the
Makes sense,
depth
doesn't it?
of experience.
You know, I suppose one of the best, and this is going off a bit, the movie City of Angels. Again, people are listening to this, and angels such as God can see all this, but cannot experience it,
That
cannot
is
cannot
right.
feel it,
That's right.
and you can see the anguish or the desire.
The desire to
The-
express and experience.
Yes.
So
Which
I
would
think
be-
we shall leave it there.
I think it's a fantastic answer. Thank you very
Does
much.
this assist?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking.
That's a
that.
great call.
For as you ask,
You'll never
you
find.
can receive.
I'm receiving.
All might.
All might.